New filming location, I guess, sure, why not, whatever. Okay, so as the title says, this is The Confessions of a Gamer, and as you might have guessed, if you've ever seen some of the other stuff that's been up on this channel, you'll see that I have put up some gaming stuff. I'm not too good, but I am a gamer. I mean, I do my best, at least. Why don't I just start with story time? You know, when I was a kid, you know, I grew up like most kids now. I grew up I grew up in the Nintendo era, which means that, you know, every single one of my friends or people that I knew, everyone had a Nintendo, and it was just one of those cool things to have. My sister and I grew up with a Game Boy, and that was just transitionary, because, you know, that was the first mobile game unit that, you know, that was technically, like, good. Technically, I mean, I guess, whatever. It was good. And that was one of the things that brought me and my sister close, you know, because we would battle each other for use of the Game Boy, and eventually, for birthdays, all we got were games for it, and that's all we ever did was share the Game Boy and play the games with her, and that was just one of the things that bonded my sister and me together. So I mean, gaming has always been, for me, an important thing, because that not only does it happen, but it's also something that brought my family together, sort of. So on to some confessions, right? As the first real confession, I guess, has to do with how I really figured out how I was, or I am, not a very good gamer. Back in the day, when the console war of, you know, the Xbox, PlayStation 2, and Nintendo GameCube, I think that was that generation. I really didn't game a lot. I mean, I used to PC game a lot more than often than not, and you know, I didn't really console game a lot. So I was invited to a LAN, and you know, this is the first time I had ever been to LAN, any kind of party that had to deal with that. And it was a Halo thing. It was a Halo 2 LAN party, and you know, this is the first time I've ever seen the Halo franchise. You know, I had known only Unreal Tournament, and that was really fun for me. So I felt like, you know, if it's a first-person shooter, I might be able to do pretty well based on what I've seen from Unreal. What I didn't realize is they're very different games, and having the skills capable of playing Unreal is very different than having the skills to play Halo. Because, you know, I started out very rough. I didn't know how to move. I didn't know how to do anything. I was the epitome of a noob. And I guess the confession part comes into play when we decided to have a big game, and you know, it was red and blue, and you know, we were picking teams, and everybody was switching, going from red to blue, red, whatever. And you know, I was trying to select one of those teams, and you know, during this LAN, because I was such a bad player, the other people like were confessing that they didn't want me on their team, and so I tried to like select a different color, like try to get a team on myself that they didn't have to deal with it. And you know, then the party host was just like, you know what, just let him play, you know, it's not going to really be that big of a deal, just let him play on one of your teams, you know, who cares. And then, you know, that whole thing went through, and this is the really first time that like gaming really got me sad, because like I felt like I wasn't needed or like wanted there. You know, even though I did suck, you know, I still wanted to play, so I wanted to participate, and it was also very cool that he just wanted me to play and he cared that, you know, I was there. And so that's one thing. So some gamers like to play sports games. I do too, but the thing about me is that I really purchase and play the sports games based on covers. I remember the very first one I bought was Madden 08 with Vince Young, and he was the only reason why I wanted to get Madden so much, because I had played NFL Game Day on the PlayStation, and I really didn't know Madden. And so Madden 08 was the first time I had a chance to really get Madden, and I was very happy that Vince Young was selected on the cover. that just made me want it even more. And then, you know, later on, I purchased my first NBA game, NBA 2K, and it was Kobe Bryant, and that was cool. So, I mean, having the cover makes a difference for me. Maybe not for everybody else, maybe not like you, but for me it makes a difference who's on the cover, because, you know, I really want to care about the game as much as I want to care about the cover. So maybe I'm just weird. It's the third and final confession that has to do with difficulty levels. My roommate used to make fun of me for playing most of the games that I play on easy settings, and, you know, because he was the guy that played on very difficult settings to learn the game, and I did that same thing on easy to learn the game. And for me, it was just easier to get into a game if it was on easy, because then I could really understand the controls a little bit easier and understand specific games. Like the sports games, I'm not very good at, you know, real sports in particular, but if I can learn how to really, you know, work with the game characters, then I'm that much better. So, you know, I played on most of the easy settings on most of my games because I want to learn. So, I mean, no offense to everybody else that, you know, doesn't play on easy settings. This is what I do. Not all games am I going to play on easy settings. Obviously, certain games I'll start on normal because I've played enough of those games to know that how games work. You know, like Final Fantasy, there is no real setting for those games, but, you know, the difficulty setting is actually pretty normal. For like games like Halo, you know, I started out with obviously Halo 1 on easy, but nowadays I play the Halos mostly on normal and the heroic, mostly because I'm so used to how Halo works. I know how to do things. It's just what the weird it is, so I don't have to focus on playing on easy settings because I don't need to. Alright, that's it. The Precious Gamer.